Bob, is that the kind of game that you expected from Dennis?
It was the kind of game we're hoping for. I mean, I honestly, I think he would, I'm not being critical, but I think he would echo that he missed a lot of shots that he makes. I thought we got him the ball out there. He should do a better job finishing around now. But that was the plan, was throwing the ball.
Bob, without commenting on officiating, your take on what happened with the minute and a half left in the game and the ejections and
I
everything
had to
else?
look at the film. It was a contact technical foul on them. And then the guys who left the bench are ejected from the game. Not a technical foul.
I'm just saying, it was a fairly significant point in the game. And did you feel that it affected anyone?
Nah.
No?
No, I mean, well, one of those guys probably would have been in the game, but I don't think the rest of them would have been in it. Those four guys probably, why they ran out there, I have no idea. I mean, generally they're looking for an escape like Jay Jacobs did when he jumped to the window and went in and laid on the floor of the car whenever something broke out. So I don't know what they were doing out there. They was probably want to get a better look at it, I guess. Those are not what I'd call fighters.
Coach, we were wondering what the ruling is on whether or not they have to miss another game, or
well, the officials said no. Okay. That they're ejected from the game, and it has to be a fight situation.
You've been trying to run the ball and push the tempo all year. You got 8-9 minutes to go. You've got a lot of foul trouble, and looks like you're trying to really slow it down and bleed the clock. Is that difficult to get your guys to do, and how did that affect your offensive?
No, it's not hard. I mean, we're going to run it down and then penetrate and pitch it, or try to get it out the rim. I mean, I didn't want to run it all the way down. I wanted to score before that, but I wanted to make sure we got good shots.
Coach, you come from a rivalry game like this one against Marshall, go back home and go to kind of the older style rivalry with Virginia Tech. I mean, is that something you kind of have to keep these emotions going so big for 2 games?
You know, I think we've got a sellout crowd, providing the students come. So, I mean, I think it'll be a great atmosphere. I don't know how many of you that are going to practice. What would you rather do? I'd rather go to practice. I got a great job playing for the games. But they really play the games.
Bob, describe rivalry. Describe what that is and why it's more apt, something like this is more apt to happen in a game like this.
I don't know, but I think you and I talked about it. When I was at Cincinnati, where everybody's rival. You know, and I used to mess with them a little bit and say, you know, it's not a rivalry till they win one. You know? But I mean, if you polled everybody in conference, you would say we're everyone's rival. But that's because we won. You know, I mean, so. I mean, to me, this is not Cincinnati Xavier. You know, the schools aren't 5 minutes apart. It's not a holy war in the city, the way that deal is. I mean, I think a game that, and I mean, I honestly think that, you know, when this game's over with, I think a lot of their people root for us, a lot of our people root for them. You know, it's a one-game deal.
That said, Keaton indicated that you put in the scouting report that Marshall's guys would talk jump, try to get them out of their game mentally. Is that something that has been an issue in this series in the past and something you worried about heading into this one?
No, I was trying to avoid, you know, our guys reacting. What you try to do is you try to prepare guys for everything that you think might happen. And that's all we did. Just, you know, our guys didn't do as good a job as I wanted to. I told them shut up, you know, walk away. And that's hard. You know, those who never know much about me, that's hard for me. But you got to do it. You know, you got to turn around and walk away.
What made you go 1-3-1 when you did? First half and I guess.
Well, I was getting a lot of advice from the bench that we needed to change defenses. worked on some other things that we were gonna try to do. And I didn't wanna do them at that point in time in the game, and I thought, you know, let's throw the 1-3 run out there. And actually, I told the guys, we'll go one possession, and if they score, get out of it and get back man. And fortunately, they turned it over a couple times. But it was just kind of a change tempo, give them a different look. You know, people get in rhythm, you know, you kind of try to get them out of rhythm.
Because of the lineup that you put out there with that, I mean, you got some really tall and long guys in it. Can you only play that for a few trips at a time, or is that something that you can maybe play more in the future?
Well, we got in foul trouble, so the reason I went to it at the end of the game is because we went in foul trouble, but they did a pretty good job of, you know, attacking it later.
Coach, there was a stretch right after, I think, Calypso picked up his fourth foul. You're talking about 8-7 minutes left to go at that point. And you've got Murray, Noreen, Miles, I think maybe Jabari was out there. It was kind of an unusual lineup, and they were able to hold on to the lead there until you were able to get Staten back into the game 3 or 4 minutes later. I was kind of wondering, was that a crucial part of the game at all? Or?
That's what they're supposed to do. Eric, I thought this was Eric's best game of the year. I thought he was a lot more focused, and thought he ran the floor better. Obviously, it's 10 rebounds, and they weren't easy rebounds. He got some hard rebounds, and this was as active as what I think he's been to this point.
Anything else?
What's your second option in the half court? You said you threw it into Dennis better tonight, but when he's not out there, what's option 2?
We're capable of making shots. You know, I think, you know, Jabari shot the ball extremely well before we started playing games, and we struggled a little bit, but he made a big 3 for us. Terry Henderson certainly could shoot the ball. He didn't shoot it very well today, but I mean, everybody has those days. Actually, Gary Brown has shot the ball pretty well. But you know, we were going to get it at the rim. You know, the way the game was going, why would you come down and shoot an early 3? You know, and I don't have the Deshaun Butler or Kevin Jones guys that have been through this time and time again, and they have a whole lot better feel. You know, KJ a year ago made 2 threes, you know, at the end of the game that really kind of extended the lead and really put us ahead, and Dave did it many times in his career, but those guys have played all those games. I mean, you're talking about guys that played 130, 140 games. I got guys that haven't played 5, you know, big difference. So I don't give them the freedom that I give KJ